Welcome to this sacred space. Before we begin, if the words you hear tonight resonate within you, I invite you to gently like this video, not for numbers, but to strengthen this circle of light we share. If something awakens in you, I invite you to leave a comment about your journey, for your story may become another's doorway. And if you wish to walk further into these sacred teachings, you may subscribe and return again and again to the frequency of truth. Let us begin. This audiobook reveals the secret frequency of money. Hidden in silence, woven into every breath, it is not found in coins or paper, but in the vibration that shapes reality itself. Stay until the end, and you will not only hear these truths, you will awaken them within you. Introduction. Beyond the noise of the world, beneath the heavy weight of struggle and striving, there exists a hidden current, a river of light that hums beneath your every step. The sages of old spoke of it in whispers, calling it the hidden song, the eternal resonance. Today, you may know it as frequency, but this frequency is not merely sound. It is the pulse of creation itself. It is the rhythm by which galaxies are born, and the same rhythm by which money, wealth, and abundance come to you. Imagine entering a vast temple, ancient yet alive. Its doors open not with effort, but with alignment. Its walls are carved with golden symbols that flicker like constellations. In the center, a flame rises, silent, unwavering, eternal. This flame is your awareness. And as you step closer, you realize the flame has always been tuned to a frequency, and that frequency determines the story of your life. Money is not an object to chase. It is not a master to fear. It is a frequency to embody. Like music carried on the air, wealth comes when you are in harmony with its tone. When your inner world vibrates with gratitude, certainty, and openness, the invisible doors swing wide and prosperity flows as naturally as breath. But here is the mystery. Most walk past the temple without ever entering. They live as beggars in the palace of infinity, blind to the keys they already carry. They labor, strive, and sweat, believing money is earned only through sacrifice. Yet money, like energy, is summoned by resonance. The frequency you hold within becomes the wealth you touch without. Pause just for a moment. Notice your own body. Feel the silence between your breaths. Beneath thought, beneath desire, there is a hum. That hum is the secret frequency of money. You have been hearing it your entire life, though few ever recognize it. Tonight, we tune you back to it. Picture yourself standing on the edge of a vast ocean at night. The waters are dark, endless, mysterious. But as you step closer, you notice the surface glowing, threads of light weaving like constellations upon the waves. These threads are the energies of wealth, waiting to be drawn into form. All that is required is your alignment, your willingness to listen, your readiness to receive. This audiobook is not mere teaching, it is a journey into alignment. With each chapter, you will walk deeper into the temple. You will learn how to quiet the static of doubt, how to open the hidden doors of the subconscious, and how to command the very frequency that summons wealth into your life. And so we begin. Step through the threshold. The secret frequency of money is already singing for you. All that remains is to listen. Chapter 1. Forgotten Song of Wealth. There is a song the world has forgotten, a song older than words, older than nations, older even than the stars you see painted across the night sky. It is the song of wealth. Not the shallow wealth of numbers stacked in banks or coins hidden in vaults, but the wealth of life itself, the ever-flowing current of energy that births trees from seeds, rivers from raindrops, and galaxies from silence. This same current flows as money in your world, yet most remain deaf to its melody. The ancients knew it. They stood in the stillness of dawn, listening to the hum that threaded through their hearts and out into the fabric of creation. They understood what we are only now remembering, that wealth is vibration, that what you call money is not paper or coin, not even digital numbers on a glowing screen, but energy, condensed into form by the frequency you emit. Pause with me. Feel it now. Beneath your thoughts, beneath the rise and fall of your breath, there is a subtle vibration. It is the pulse of life. That pulse is your instrument, and the way you tune it determines the reality you walk into. A heart beating in gratitude hums differently than a heart knotted in fear. A mind resting in certainty rings with a brighter tone than a mind shackled by doubt. And so it is. The universe does not respond to your need, it responds to your frequency. Think of a radio. In your hand, you hold the power to tune. When you turn the dial to static, all you hear is chaos. But when you find the right frequency, a song comes alive, clear, perfect, undeniable. Money is no different. Most people live on the static station, filled with noise, fear of bills, scarcity in thought, anxiety about tomorrow. They wonder why the music of wealth never plays for them. But the answer is simple. They have not yet tuned to the frequency where money lives. I will tell you a story. Once, in a forgotten village by the sea, there lived a fisherman who always returned with empty nets. Day after day he cast his line, yet nothing came. The others mocked him, saying the ocean was barren, or worse, that he was cursed. But one night, guided by a dream, he walked down to the shore in silence. He did not throw his net in haste. Instead, he sat upon a rock and listened. The waves whispered, the wind carried a rhythm, and deep inside, his heart began to beat in harmony with the sea. He rose, cast his net not with fear but with alignment, and when he drew it back, it was heavy with fish, shimmering like silver stars. From that night on, the man no longer fished, he resonated. This is the secret. Money, too, waits for those who resonate. Not those who strive desperately, but those who align. For striving is the noise of static, while alignment is the song of wealth. Consider this. Every object you see is born of vibration. Your body hums at a frequency, your thoughts are electrical pulses, your words ripple into the unseen. When you worry about lack, you emit lack. When you dwell on debt, you magnify debt. But when you embody the feeling of already having, when you step into the inner state of wealth before it appears, you change the station. The song begins to play. This is why some inherit millions only to lose them, while others rise from nothing into empires. It is not circumstance that determines destiny, but frequency. Wealth follows resonance, not effort alone. You could work 1,000 hours, but if your vibration hums with scarcity, your nets will return empty. Yet with the right inner frequency, even one inspired act can open floodgates of abundance. Let us return to the temple. Picture yourself standing again before the eternal flame, its golden light dancing in silence. As you step closer, you see an instrument resting at the altar. It is not carved of wood or string, but woven of light. This instrument is your heart, your mind, your body, your entire being. The question is not whether you hold the instrument, but whether you know how to play. To play the song of wealth, you must release the static. Fear, doubt, guilt, unworthiness, these are strings out of tune. Gratitude, certainty, joy, receptivity, these are the harmonics that call the river of money to your door. The universe, vast and unyielding, is listening not to your words, but to your tone. There is another story I must tell you. In the bustling streets of an ancient city lived a merchant who struggled to sell his wares. His stall was full of beautiful fabrics, dyed in colors rare and radiant, yet buyers walked past. Frustrated, he lowered his prices, begged customers, even shouted in the marketplace. Still, no one came. Then, one evening, he met a mystic who told him, "You are selling fabric with your hands, but poverty with your soul." The merchant did not understand, so the mystic invited him to sit in silence. Together, they closed their eyes. "See your fabrics already adorning kings," the mystic whispered. "Feel your gold coins already in your hand." The merchant did as he was told, and a great warmth rose in his chest. He felt the dignity of wealth, the ease of prosperity. The next day, without lowering his prices, he simply stood in his stall with a calm smile, radiating certainty. And soon, customers came, not trickling, but pouring. His wealth grew, not because his fabrics changed, but because he had tuned himself to a new frequency. So it is with you. Your circumstances, your job, your skills, these are the fabric. But the frequency you carry is the true merchant. Now, let us practice. Close your eyes if you wish. Breathe slowly, as if the air itself were golden. With every inhale, imagine drawing in light. With every exhale, release the static, the fear, the tension, the doubts. Now place your attention upon your heart. Imagine it as a chamber of resonance, glowing, vibrating, humming with a deep and steady tone. Whisper to yourself, not with words, but with feeling, "I am the frequency of wealth." Allow the words to dissolve into vibration. Feel the tone rising, as if your body were an instrument tuning itself to the secret song. Stay here for a moment. Listen not with your ears, but with your soul. Can you sense it? That hum, steady and eternal, has always been here. That is the forgotten song of wealth. And as you remember it, the universe remembers you. Wealth is not something you chase. It is something you remember. Money is not something you earn. It is something you align with. From this moment, begin to see every coin, every bill, every opportunity, not as chance, but as music responding to your tone. Play the right frequency, and the symphony of wealth surrounds you. Chapter 2. The Law of Resonance. Every moment of your life, you are broadcasting. Not through your mouth, not through your hands, but through the invisible current of your being. This current is called resonance. It is the silent law that shapes everything you see, everything you touch, everything that flows toward you or away from you. You may think of yourself as small, but you are not. You are a tuning fork struck by the cosmos itself, and what you hum, the universe amplifies. Money, too, obeys this law. Not as a judge, not as a master, but as a servant of resonance. It cannot come where it is unwelcome. It cannot dwell where the vibration rejects it. And it cannot resist where it is harmonized with joy, certainty, and openness. Pause for a moment. Feel the truth of this. Think back to the times when you were certain something would happen, and it did. That certainty was resonance. Recall when you feared something so strongly that it arrived at your door. That fear was also resonance. The universe has no ears to hear your words. It has no eyes to see your deeds. It has only this inner instrument to measure, the frequency you hold within. Resonance is the hidden law behind all manifestation. When you strike a single string of a violin, another violin across the room will tremble with the same note. It cannot resist. The string vibrates because it has been called by resonance. In the same way, when you vibrate with wealth, opportunities, ideas, and people aligned with that vibration tremble and are drawn into your orbit. But here is the paradox. Most live out of tune. Their inner strings hum with doubt, yet they demand wealth. They vibrate scarcity, yet they hope for abundance. They do not realize that the law of resonance has no loophole, no exception. It does not bring what you want. It brings what you are. Let me tell you a story. Once there was a young man who dreamed of gold. Every night he prayed for riches, and every morning he woke in despair at his empty pockets. He begged the heavens, fasted, gave away what little he had, but the gold never came. One evening, weary and hopeless, he wandered into the woods and met an old musician playing a harp beneath the trees. The melody was so pure that tears welled in the young man's eyes. "How do you play so beautifully?" he asked. The old man smiled. "I do not play to make the strings sing. I tune myself until the strings cannot help but answer." The young man understood. He had been begging the universe for gold while vibrating with lack. He had been playing out of tune, demanding the strings to sing while his own heart remained disharmonious. That night he changed. He stopped praying for riches and instead began tuning his inner being. He walked as if he already had gold, smiled as if abundance surrounded him, gave thanks for coins not yet seen. Soon, opportunities came. A job, a partnership, a discovery. Within months, his life transformed. The gold did not come because he begged, it came because he resonated. Resonance is magnetic. You are already proving this law daily, whether you know it or not. Look at your life right now. What patterns repeat? What situations echo again and again? These are the resonances you are broadcasting. A person constantly betrayed by others resonates with betrayal. A person constantly lifted by others resonates with trust and harmony. Likewise, one who lives in constant lack resonates with scarcity, while one who finds joy in the little they have resonates with abundance. And to that vibration, money cannot help but respond. The question then is not, how do I make money come to me? The question is, what am I resonating? You are an instrument, and like any instrument, you can be tuned. If your strings hum with fear, they can be retuned to certainty. If they hum with guilt, they can be retuned to worthiness. If they hum with desperation, they can be retuned to peace. And when they are tuned, wealth begins to move toward you in ways so natural, so inevitable, that you wonder why you ever struggled at all. Think of water. When you drop a pebble into a pond, ripples spread outward in perfect circles. But drop 2 pebbles, and the ripples overlap, creating patterns of interference. Life is the same. When your inner ripples are chaotic, conflicting, mixed with doubt and fear, the patterns you create are distorted. But when your inner vibration is steady, gratitude upon gratitude, certainty upon certainty, the ripples move outward, clean and strong. They touch opportunities you cannot yet see. They call forth synchronicities that feel miraculous. They draw to you wealth not as coincidence, but as consequence. This is why wealth cannot be forced. You cannot command the sea by shouting. You cannot demand the stars to move by begging. But when you align your resonance, the sea itself carries you. The stars themselves shift in your favor. Resonance is not work. It is not strain. It is tuning. And so, the sacred practice of this chapter is tuning your resonance. Close your eyes now, if you wish. Imagine yourself as a great golden harp standing in a silent hall. The strings stretch from your heart to the heavens. Some strings are taut, some slack, some broken. Now imagine a hand of light, the hand of Source itself, moving gently across your being, tightening where you are loose, loosening where you are rigid, repairing where you are broken. Feel yourself becoming attuned. One by one, the strings hum in perfect pitch until your entire being vibrates as a single note. Abundance. Hold this vibration for a moment. Inhale and imagine golden threads entering your body. Exhale and let every trace of scarcity dissolve. With each breath, whisper inwardly, I am tuned to the frequency of wealth. I am resonance itself. Now, slowly, bring your awareness back. You are no longer static, no longer noise. You are resonance. And as you step into the world again, the law will obey. Money, opportunities, connections, and doors will move toward you, not because you begged, not because you forced, but because resonance cannot resist itself. This is the law of resonance. Wealth is not separate from you. It is the echo of your vibration. Tune yourself, and the world must tune in return. Chapter 3. The Mirror of Wealth. Everywhere you look, life is reflecting you. The world is not a fixed stage on which you stumble blindly. It is a mirror, polished by the unseen, reflecting the tones you carry within. What you call fate is often only reflection. What you call chance is resonance meeting its mirror. And what you call wealth, or the lack of it, is your own frequency made visible in the outer world. The ancients taught this in secret temples. They carved it in symbols upon stone, painted it in colors that only the initiated understood. The law is simple. As within, so without. The universe is not showing you the truth of the world, it is showing you the truth of yourself. Pause for a moment and feel this. Think back to times when you carried joy in your heart. Did not the world seem to shine with brighter colors, as if strangers smiled more easily, as if opportunities appeared where once there were none? And think of the times you carried sorrow, bitterness, fear. Did not the same streets, the same skies, the same rooms suddenly feel colder, harsher, less forgiving? The world did not change. The mirror simply reflected what you carried. Money obeys this same law. Wealth is not a distant object waiting to be earned. It is a reflection of your inner wealth. Poverty, too, is not merely the absence of coins. It is the reflection of an inner state. When the mirror is clouded by thoughts of lack, the image it shows is lack. When the mirror shines with gratitude and certainty, the image it reflects is abundance. Let me tell you a story. In a desert land long ago, there lived a woman who dreamed of water. Each day she searched the sands but found nothing. Her lips cracked, her spirit broke. Then one evening she came upon an ancient mirror buried half in the dunes. She pulled it free, and as she gazed into it, she saw not her weary face, but a clear pool of water. At first she thought it was illusion, but the more she looked, the more the image solidified. Days later, travelers passed by and dug where she had seen the pool in her vision, and water gushed forth. The desert bloomed, the village grew, and the woman became the keeper of the well. She had not found water outside. She had found the mirror within. Wealth works this way. The reflection always follows the inner picture. If you see yourself as poor, undeserving, unlucky, then the mirror obliges. If you see yourself as prosperous, worthy, and magnetic to wealth, then reality bends to reveal that truth. And yet, most fight with the mirror. Imagine standing before glass and frowning at your reflection, demanding it smile before you do. Imagine scowling at your reflection and shouting, "Why are you so angry?" The mirror cannot change first. You must change. In the same way, people curse their circumstances, resent their poverty, and demand money come before they change their state. But the mirror is law. It reflects. It does not create. You create, and then it reflects. This is why inner work is not luxury, but necessity. The wealth you desire must first be seen within, felt within, claimed within. Only then does the outer mirror show it back to you. Another story. In a quiet mountain town, there lived a tailor. His shop was small, his clothes finely made, but he never grew rich. He blamed the townspeople, saying they were too poor, too blind to appreciate his art. Years passed, and his bitterness deepened. One day, a traveler came through the town and admired his work. "Why do you sit here poor with such skill?" the traveler asked. The tailor sighed, "Because no one will pay me what I'm worth." The traveler looked him in the eye and said, "Perhaps it is not them who undervalues your work. Perhaps it is you." Those words struck him like thunder. That night he sat alone with candlelight flickering against the walls. For the first time he admitted he had always carried an image of himself as small, as overlooked, as undeserving of wealth, and so the mirror had only shown him that picture. He decided to change. Each day he rose with the thought, "My work is worthy, my hands create wealth, I am prosperous." Slowly, his posture changed, his tone brightened, his shop radiated a new energy. Within months, nobles from faraway cities came to order his garments. His wealth grew not because the town changed, but because his reflection did. The mirror does not lie. And so, the sacred practice of this chapter is to polish your mirror. Sit quietly for a moment. Close your eyes and imagine yourself standing before a vast mirror of light. At first, the reflection may show you as you are now, weary, uncertain, doubting. But as you breathe, begin to shift. Straighten your spine, lift your gaze. Imagine yourself clothed in golden light, your hands radiant with creative power, your heart steady with certainty. See yourself already abundant, already wealthy, already walking as one who commands the frequency of money. Do not ask the mirror to change. Change within, and watch the reflection follow. Whisper softly, "I am the wealth I seek. The world is my reflection." Feel this until the words are no longer words, but truth. When you rise and return to the world, carry this reflection with you. Do not wait for the mirror to show wealth before you believe it. Believe first, and the mirror must obey. This is the law. As within, so without. And when doubt returns, as it surely will, remember the desert woman who found water in the mirror and the tailor who changed his reflection. Remember that what you see is not the final truth, but the echo of your inner state. Change the state, and the echo must change. You are not a beggar in this universe. You are the one holding the mirror. Wealth does not come to you from chance or from favor. It comes because you reflect it. Chapter 4. The river that never runs dry. There is a river that flows beneath all things. You cannot see it with your eyes, yet it moves through you with every breath. It carries the seed of every flower, the spark of every star, the pulse of every coin that has ever passed through human hands. This river is abundance itself. It is not scarce. It does not run dry. It is eternal, inexhaustible, infinite, and yet most live as if they are stranded in a desert, clutching at drops, quarreling over cups, convinced the river has passed them by. They dig in the sand, they compete, they fight, never realizing that beneath their very feet the current is flowing, waiting only for them to pierce the veil and drink. The ancients understood this. They called it by many names: mana, prana, chi, ruach. Each culture spoke of it as breath, spirit, flow. In your world today, you call one of its forms money. But money is not the river. It is only one channel through which the river expresses itself. The river itself is abundance, and it cannot be exhausted. Think of the sky. Millions breathe in this moment, yet the air does not run out. Think of the sun. Its light shines on every corner of the earth, yet it does not dim. So too is the river of wealth. The illusion of lack is man-made, but the truth of infinite flow is eternal. Let me tell you a story. There was once a village built along a mountain stream. The people drank from it daily, certain it was their only source of life. But one year, the stream dried and famine loomed. Panic spread, for they believed the flow had ended. Yet an elder remembered a forgotten tale, that beneath the mountain lay a deeper river, vast and eternal. Guided by his vision, they dug deep, far beneath the cracked earth. Days passed, hope wavered, until suddenly water gushed forth, pure, unending, unstoppable. The village prospered, for they had discovered the true source. The stream had been but an outlet. The river had never ceased. So it is with money. Your income, your job, your business, these are streams. They may rise, they may fall, they may dry, but beneath them lies the river of infinite supply. If one stream closes, another opens. If one door shuts, another appears. What matters is not the stream, but your faith in the river. You must remember this: scarcity is not real. It is a shadow cast by fear. Look around. Is the earth lacking in trees, in stars, in drops of water in the ocean? Existence itself is abundant. It multiplies. It renews. The only scarcity is in the mind that refuses to look beyond the stream. I recall another story. In a bustling city, a merchant lost his fortune overnight when ships carrying his goods sank in a storm. Ruin threatened him, and his friends whispered, "Your wealth is gone." But the merchant smiled and said, "The river has not dried, only the stream has shifted." Instead of despairing, he attuned himself again to the frequency of flow. He sought new ideas, new ventures, new currents. Within a year, his wealth surpassed what had been lost. His secret was not in clinging to streams, but in trusting the river. This is why those who cling tightly, fearing loss, often find their wealth slipping through their fingers. To clutch is to dam the flow. To trust is to open the gates. The river cannot be owned, but it can be aligned with. When you stand in harmony with its current, it carries you farther than effort ever could. Now, let us enter the practice of the river. Close your eyes. Imagine before you a vast river of golden light. It flows endlessly, its waters shimmering with abundance. See it stretching from horizon to horizon, wide as eternity, deep as infinity. Step into it. Feel the current moving around you, through you. With every inhale, draw the golden waters into your being. With every exhale, release the belief in scarcity, the fear of loss, the doubt of worthiness. Breathe until you are no longer standing in the river, but the river itself. Now whisper inwardly, I am the current of abundance. My streams may change, but my river is eternal. Feel these words become truth. Notice the shift. The fear dissolves, the grasping loosens, and in its place is flow. Carry this practice into your daily life. When a stream closes, do not mourn it as the end. Say instead, the river flows still. Another stream will open. When money departs, do not fear its absence. Whisper, I am the river, I cannot run dry. This shift in perception alone turns the tide of your reality. Understand this deeply. Lack is only the illusion of separation from the river. Wealth is the remembrance that you were never separate. And so I say to you, stop begging at dry streams. Stop clutching at what is fading. Step into the river and let it carry you. For it has always been flowing, and it always will. Chapter 5. The Language of the Invisible. There is a language older than speech, older than ink, older than sound itself. It is the language of the invisible. Every soul speaks it, though most have forgotten. Every tree, every star, every ripple of water speaks it too. Money speaks it, wealth responds to it. It is the silent dialogue between your inner state and the universe. Words are surface, thoughts are shadows. But vibration, feeling, is the true language of creation. You may declare with your mouth, I am rich, yet if your vibration hums with lack, the universe hears lack. You may cry out, I am poor, yet if your heart hums with gratitude, the universe hears abundance. It does not respond to sound, it responds to tone. This is why two people can speak the same affirmation, but one manifests miracles while the other sees nothing. The difference is not the phrase, but the frequency behind it. A seed planted in barren soil will not grow, but the same seed in fertile ground bursts into harvest. So too with words. The soil is your inner vibration, the seed is your intention. Let me tell you a story. In a small village, there was a man who longed for rain. His crops withered, his family starved, and every day he stood in the fields shouting, Rain come, rain come. The skies remained dry. Then, one evening, he met a wanderer who asked him, Why do you beg for rain with the vibration of drought? Speak the language of rain itself. The man was puzzled. The wanderer took him to the field, closed his eyes, and stretched his arms upward. He did not ask. He did not beg. He breathed as if the air were already wet, smiled as if drops kissed his skin, moved his feet as if mud softened beneath him. And as he stood in the feeling of rain, clouds gathered. Soon the first drops fell, and the sky broke open with abundance. This is the language of the invisible. Not words, but vibration. Not demand, but alignment. Money listens this way. If you beg it with desperation, your tone is scarcity, and so scarcity echoes back. If you affirm with hollow words while secretly doubting, the tone is static, and so nothing answers. But if you feel wealth before the evidence, if you breathe abundance before the coin, if you live as though money already surrounds you, then money cannot resist, for it speaks the same language, vibration. Understand this: every transaction is a conversation with the invisible. When you give grudgingly, the language you speak is lack. When you give joyfully, the language is flow. When you receive with guilt, you speak unworthiness. When you receive with gratitude, you speak expansion. The invisible hears, and it responds in kind. Let us return to the temple. Imagine its walls of gold, its flame eternal. Carved upon its pillars are not letters but waves, spirals, tones. This is the script of vibration. The ancients knew that language was frequency before it was word. They sang hymns not to please gods, but to tune their souls. They chanted mantras not to impress heaven, but to align with the eternal tone. And when they tuned themselves, abundance walked with them, for they spoke the only language creation understands. Another story. In an ancient kingdom lived a queen who wished to bless her people with wealth. She sent gold into every household, but within weeks the gold returned to her palace. Some spent it recklessly, others hoarded in fear, and soon the kingdom was poor again. Puzzled, she sought counsel from a sage. The sage said, "You gave them gold, but not the language of wealth. Until they learn to speak abundance with their hearts, the coins will only echo their inner poverty." The queen wept, for she realized wealth is not given, it is spoken into being. So too with you. Until you learn the language of the invisible, wealth given to you may slip away, but when you learn it, even the smallest seed multiplies endlessly. And so we must practice. Close your eyes. Imagine before you the thing you desire, a sum of money, an opportunity, a life of freedom. See it not as far, but as here. Now, breathe into the feeling of already having it. Smile as though the bills are already paid, the accounts already full, the abundance already flowing. Do not strain, do not force. Simply tune your vibration until the feeling becomes real, until gratitude rises naturally, until your body hums with the quiet certainty. It is done. This is the language of the invisible. When you rise from this practice, the outer world may not shift in that moment, but the mirror has already changed. The universe has already heard. And soon the reflection must appear, for it cannot resist the tone. Carry this language into your life. When you give money, give it as if sowing into infinite soil, saying inwardly, "More will come, the river flows." When you receive money, receive it with gratitude, saying inwardly, "I am worthy of flow." When you think of money, think of it not as scarce, but as ever moving, ever present, ever listening. Speak to it with joy, and it will speak back with abundance. Remember, your life is a constant conversation with the unseen. Every thought, every feeling, every vibration is a sentence in the great dialogue. Speak scarcity, and scarcity answers. Speak abundance, and abundance replies. Speak with the tone of certainty, and wealth becomes inevitable. The language of the invisible is not mastered overnight, but with each breath, each thought, each practice, you tune closer to fluency. Soon you will find that the outer world begins to understand you. Opportunities appearing, money flowing, synchronicities unfolding. Not by chance, but because you finally spoke the one language the universe has always listened for. Chapter 6. The Gate of Worthiness. Every treasure chest has a lock. Every temple has a gate. And the gatekeeper of wealth is not fate, nor chance, nor other men. It is worthiness. Until you feel worthy of abundance, the river cannot flow fully into your hands. Until you allow yourself to be chosen, the gate remains closed, no matter how loudly you knock. This is the hidden truth. It is not money that rejects you. It is your own unworthiness that keeps the door sealed. For the universe does not ask, "Are you capable?" It asks only, "Do you allow yourself to receive?" Pause with me. How many times have you pushed away a compliment, saying, "Oh, it was nothing"? How many times have you underpriced your work, convinced no one would pay more? How many times have you silenced your own desires, saying, "I do not deserve that much"? Each moment was a gate closing, a treasure chest locking, not because the universe deemed you unworthy, but because you did. The truth is this: worthiness is not earned, it is remembered. You were born worthy, for you are made of the same light that spins the stars. But somewhere along the way, you were taught otherwise. Parents struggling, voices saying, "We can't afford it." Teachers warning, "Don't ask for too much." A society whispering, "Know your place." And so the seed of unworthiness was planted, and it grew into chains. But tonight, we break them. Let me tell you a story. In a faraway kingdom lived a young scribe who dreamed of wealth. Each day he copied manuscripts for a few coins, his back aching, his eyes straining, while merchants and nobles passed him by in luxury. One day, weary of his struggle, he wandered into a temple where an elder monk sat in meditation. The scribe asked, "Why does the universe give wealth to them and not to me?" The monk opened his eyes and replied, "Child, you sit before a feast and cry of hunger, yet your own hands refuse to eat. The universe gives equally, but only the worthy eat of it. The question is not whether the feast is laid, but whether you will sit at the table." The words pierced him. That night, he sat with a candle flickering on his desk and for the first time asked himself, "Do I believe I deserve wealth?" The silence answered, "No." And in that moment, he saw the truth. It was not the nobles, nor fate, nor the gods who denied him. It was himself. From then on, he began each day with a new ritual. He placed his hand on his heart and declared, "I am worthy of abundance. I am worthy of ease. I am worthy of wealth." Slowly, his posture lifted, his voice grew confident, his work commanded respect. And soon, wealth flowed, not by chance, but because he had opened the gate of worthiness. This is the same gate you must open. Money is energy. It moves toward permission. If you secretly feel unworthy, you emit a silent no, and wealth turns aside. But when you radiate worthiness, when you walk as one who belongs at the table, the universe rushes to confirm it. Think of the earth. Does the flower ask permission to bloom? Does the ocean apologize for its vastness? Do the stars shrink because they shine too brightly? No, they are. They expand, they flourish. Worthiness is not questioned in nature. It is embodied. And you too are nature. You too were meant to flourish without apology. But how do you shift when the old voices still whisper lack? Here lies the sacred practice. Close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe slowly, deeply. With each inhale, imagine drawing golden light into your chest. With each exhale, release the voices of unworthiness, every memory of being told you could not, should not, must not. See them dissolve like smoke. Now speak inwardly. I am worthy. Feel the words sink into your chest, not as sound, but as truth. Say again, I am worthy of wealth. I am worthy of ease. I am worthy of receiving. With each repetition, imagine the great gate before you glowing, its locks loosening, its doors creaking open. Step through. On the other side is the feast, the river, the treasure. See yourself seated at the table, welcomed without condition, your cup overflowing. Hold this image until it feels natural, until you realize it is not imagination, it is memory. For your soul has always known it. When you return to waking life, notice the moments you diminish yourself. Stop. Correct them. When someone compliments you, receive it fully. When you price your work, honor its value. When opportunities arise, do not shrink, but say inwardly, I am worthy to receive. You will notice a shift. People will begin treating you as you treat yourself. Opportunities will recognize your vibration. Money will flow not because it suddenly loves you, but because you finally allowed it to. Another story. In a modern city, a woman struggled as an artist. She worked tirelessly, yet her paintings remained unsold. She told herself, no one will ever pay for my work. One day, she met a mentor who asked, do you value what you create? She hesitated. The mentor said, until you do, no one else will. That night, she raised her prices, not arrogantly, but in alignment with her worth. At first, she was afraid, but soon buyers came, and with them, recognition. Her wealth grew not because her art changed, but because her worthiness did. You must understand, wealth cannot enter where worthiness is absent, but the moment you claim it, the universe rearranges. From this moment, stop apologizing for your existence. Stop shrinking your desires to fit others' expectations. Stop believing the lie that wealth is only for some and not for you. Step boldly to the table. The feast is already laid. The river is already flowing. The gate is waiting only for your permission. You are worthy. Not someday, not after proving yourself, not after suffering enough. Now, here, always. Chapter 7. The Seed of Intention. Every forest begins with a seed. Every empire, every fortune, every creation begins the same way, with intention. It is invisible at first, smaller than thought, quieter than a whisper, yet within it lies the entire harvest of your future. The universe is soil. Your mind is the gardener, and your intention is the seed. What you sow in silence becomes your destiny in time. Yet most scatter seeds without care. They plant thoughts of fear, watered daily with worry, and then wonder why their harvest is barren. They whisper intentions of abundance, but secretly bury them beneath doubt, then cry when nothing grows. But here lies the sacred truth. The soil never judges. It only gives back what it is given. Sow lack, reap lack. Sow abundance, reap abundance. The law is flawless. Pause now. Consider your own seeds. What intentions do you plant with every thought? When you think of money, do you sow seeds of fear? There is never enough, it will not last? Or do you sow seeds of trust? I am supported, the flow is endless. Every thought is a seed, every feeling is water, every action is sunlight, and in time the harvest comes. Let me tell you a story. In a quiet countryside lived two farmers. One sowed wheat with confidence, singing as he worked, believing in the rains to come. The other, fearful of drought, planted half-heartedly, grumbling that the land would fail him. When the season passed, the first farmer's fields were golden, stretching like fire across the horizon. The second's were sparse, the soil bare. The difference was not the land, but the intention. The land mirrored the seed. So it is with money. One person acts with the vibration of certainty and multiplies wealth. Another acts from fear and sees their wealth vanish. The soil is the same, the seed is different. Here is another story. In the bustling streets of a great city lived a young inventor. He dreamed of creating a device that would change lives. Each night he worked by candlelight, yet doubt gnawed at him. Who am I to succeed? He thought. Who will ever listen? His invention remained half-finished, gathering dust. Then one night he met an elder who told him, "Your invention is already alive in the invisible, but it waits for you to plant it fully. The soil cannot grow a seed that is never sown." Struck by these words, the inventor shifted. He stopped doubting and set his intention clearly. "I will complete this, and it will bless the world." Within months, his device was finished. Soon after, it brought him not only wealth, but the joy of creation fulfilled. This is the secret. Intention must be planted fully. A half-sown seed bears no harvest. But intention alone is not enough. It must be planted in alignment, watered with faith, and shielded from weeds of fear. Many plant a seed of abundance in the morning, only to uproot it by night with doubt. They never allow it to root. The soil would have given, but the gardener would not allow. So how do you plant intention rightly? You must plant it with the feeling of completion. Do not sow with desperation, begging the seed to grow. Sow with certainty, already tasting the harvest. See the tree within the seed. Feel the abundance within the intention. When you hold this state, the soil responds. The unseen begins to organize. Synchronicities appear, opportunities rise, doors swing open, not by force, but by law. The ancients practiced this in silence. They called it prayer, visualization, inner ritual. They understood that intention spoken with the right vibration is command, while intention spoken with doubt is noise. When they prayed, they did not ask for rain. They felt the rain. When they sowed for harvest, they celebrated as if it were already here. Their harvests were plentiful because their seeds were planted in faith. And so, here is the sacred practice of this chapter. Close your eyes. Imagine in your hands a small golden seed. This seed is your intention. It may be a sum of money, a dream fulfilled, a life of freedom. Hold it gently. Now, step into the field of your inner world. The soil stretches endlessly before you, fertile, rich, waiting. Kneel down and place the seed into the earth. Cover it with soil. As you do, whisper inwardly, "It is done." Not, "It will be done," but "It is done." Now, rise and imagine yourself months later, standing in a golden field of harvest. See the abundance surrounding you. Feel the gratitude overflowing in your chest. Walk through the field, touch the wheat, taste the fruit, experience it as real. This is how you plant an intention, by living the harvest before it arrives. When you open your eyes, carry the certainty with you. Do not dig up the seed with doubt. Do not say, "Where is it?" Trust the soil. Trust the law. Trust that what you have planted is already growing. You will notice shifts, a conversation leading to opportunity, an idea flashing into your mind, a door opening where once there was none. These are the sprouts breaking the surface. Water them with gratitude. Protect them from weeds of fear. In time, the harvest comes. And when it does, remember this: every coin in your hand, every opportunity before you, began as a seed within. The world is only your garden. Another story. A teacher once told his disciples, "The oak tree sleeps within the acorn, The harvest sleeps within the seed, and your destiny sleeps within your intention. One disciple asked, "Master, what if I plant no seed?" The teacher smiled sadly and said, "Then weeds will grow, for the soil never lies barren. The only question is whether you plant deliberately or by neglect." So ask yourself, what seeds are you planting today? Are they seeds of abundance, joy, and certainty, or seeds of fear, lack, and unworthiness? The soil does not care. It reflects only the seed. From this day, plant with intention, plant with clarity, plant with faith. For the harvest is not far, it is already stirring beneath the soil. Chapter 8. The Power of Imagination. The greatest treasure vault in the world is not a bank, nor a palace, nor a vault hidden deep beneath mountains of stone. It is your imagination. For within it lies the power to create worlds, summon wealth, and call the invisible into form. Everything you see began as thought. The chair you sit on, the building that shelters you, the coins in your hand, all were once invisible, living only in the mind of someone who dared to imagine them. The ancients called imagination the divine eye, the inner sun, the holy fire. It is not fantasy, it is creation's womb, and yet most misuse it. They use imagination not as creation, but as prison. They imagine debts growing larger, problems multiplying, doors closing. They rehearse fear, magnify doubt, paint lack upon the canvas of their minds, and so the world reflects their inner painting. For imagination is law. Whatever picture you hold within, life must mirror without. Pause here. Close your eyes for a moment. Recall how often you imagine what could go wrong. Notice how easily the mind rehearses loss, poverty, failure. Each rehearsal is a seed planted, each picture a command to the universe. The soil does not ask whether you paint light or shadow, it only brings it to form. This is why imagination is sacred. It must be guarded, guided, directed like fire. Left wild, it burns. Directed, it warms and illuminates. Let me tell you a story. In a crowded city lived a man who longed for wealth. Each day he labored, yet his pockets remained empty. At night he lay awake, imagining bills piling higher, doors slamming shut, opportunities slipping away. His imagination became a curse, a never-ending rehearsal of lack. One evening an elder approached him and said, "Your imagination is the brush. Why do you paint the walls of your future with shadows?" The man asked, "What else can I paint? My reality is bleak." The elder replied, "Reality is only yesterday's painting. Paint today what you wish tomorrow to show." The man resisted, but finally tried. Each night he closed his eyes and painted himself walking in abundance, receiving coins with joy, living in freedom. At first it felt like fantasy, but in time it became natural. And soon his outer world bent to the inner painting. Jobs, opportunities, and wealth flowed in. His imagination had become the architect of his fortune. This is the secret. Imagination precedes reality. Always. Consider this. If you imagine lack, you create lack. If you imagine wealth, you create wealth. The mind is the loom, the world is the cloth. What pattern you weave in imagination will be worn in your reality. The mystics knew this. They built temples not of stone alone, but of vision first. They healed not only with herbs, but by seeing wholeness in the invisible. They taught disciples to sit in silence and imagine light pouring into them, wealth already in their hands, abundance already lived. To the untrained eye, it seemed foolish. To the awakened, it was law. Here is another story. A woman living in poverty once heard of this law. She laughed at first, but decided to test it. Each night she closed her eyes and imagined her small home filled with gold. She saw herself setting the table with plenty, her children laughing, her hands filled with coins. She felt it as real. Days passed, then weeks, and nothing seemed to change, yet she persisted. Soon, a neighbor offered her work, another gave her a gift, and opportunities unfolded. Within a year, her life had transformed. She told others, the wealth was born in imagination first. The outer world had no choice but to obey. Do you see? Your imagination is the blueprint. Without it, no architect can build, no soil can grow, no river can flow. With it, all becomes possible. And so, here lies the sacred practice. Sit quietly, close your eyes. Enter the temple of imagination. Before you stands a blank canvas, pure and infinite. In your hand is the brush of thought. Now paint, not with wishful hoping, but with certainty. See yourself already living the life you desire. Walk through the rooms of abundance. Feel the coins in your hands, hear the laughter of ease. Smell the fragrance of freedom. Paint it until it feels real, until your body responds with gratitude, until your heart hums with joy. Do this not once, but daily. For imagination is not a single stroke, but a masterpiece woven over time. And as you persist, reality bends, opportunities shift, people arrive, doors open. The world cannot resist the image held in the womb of imagination. But beware, guard the gates of your mind. Do not let fear steal the brush. Do not allow doubt to paint shadows over your vision. When negative images arise, erase them quickly and repaint. For the law is neutral. It gives you what you paint, whether joy or sorrow. Imagination is not escape. It is command. It is not illusion. It is blueprint. Every empire was once invisible. Every fortune began as thought. Every coin you touch was once dreamed by someone. The difference between those who manifest and those who do not is simple. Some paint with intention, others leave the canvas to chance. Another story. A child once asked his teacher, "How do I know imagination is real?" The teacher pointed to the roof above them and said, "This roof was once only imagination. Before it was wood, before it was stone, it was thought. Do you live beneath illusion now, or beneath imagination made flesh?" The child understood, and so must you. What you imagine today becomes the roof, the bread, the gold of tomorrow. The invitation is this: reclaim your imagination, make it sacred again. Sit within it as temple, not as prison. Paint boldly, feel fully, believe completely. For imagination is not mere dreaming, it is the secret frequency of creation itself. Chapter 9. The Rhythm of Giving and Receiving. All of creation moves in rhythm. The tides rise and fall, the moon waxes and wanes, the heart expands and contracts, breath flows in and out. Nothing in this universe clings or hoards. Everything flows, everything exchanges, everything dances in the rhythm of giving and receiving. Money obeys this same rhythm. It is not stagnant. It is a current, a circulation, a pulse. To hoard in fear is to choke its flow. To give in trust is to invite its return. Those who understand this dance prosper, for they align themselves with the eternal circulation of the universe. Those who resist it suffer, for they dam the river, and a dammed river becomes stagnant, lifeless, dry. Pause for a moment. Feel your own breath. Inhale deeply, then release. If you were to inhale and refuse to exhale, you would suffocate. If you were to exhale and refuse to inhale, you would collapse. Breath is life because it flows. Wealth is no different. You must receive with gratitude and give with openness, for both are necessary to the rhythm. Let me tell you a story. In a mountain village, there lived two brothers. One kept every coin he earned, hiding them in jars beneath the floorboards, terrified of loss. The other gave generously, supporting neighbors, feeding travelers, yet always received more in return. Over time, the first brother grew bitter and poor in spirit, though he had coins. The second thrived, his wealth multiplying. At last the first asked, "Why does the universe favor you?" The second replied, "Because I do not hold my breath. I give and I receive. I live in the rhythm. The rhythm is law. When you give with fear, the vibration is lack, and lack returns. When you give with joy, the vibration is abundance, and abundance multiplies. Likewise, when you receive with guilt, you speak unworthiness, and wealth slips away. But when you receive with gratitude, you invite more, for the universe hears, "I am ready, I am open, I am aligned." Understand this deeply. Money is not lost when given. It is released into circulation. Like blood in the body, it nourishes, moves, returns. Imagine if blood clotted and refused to flow. The body would sicken. So it is with wealth. Money held in fear stagnates. Money released in trust circulates back, often multiplied. Another story. In an ancient port city lived a merchant woman. Each season she gave away a portion of her earnings to travelers, temples, and the poor. Her friends mocked her. "You are wasting your fortune," they said. Yet each year her business grew, her ships returned with greater cargo, her wealth multiplied. When asked her secret, she replied, "The sea does not return what it does not first receive. I give to the sea of life, and it always returns with more." This is the rhythm. Give and receive, exhale and inhale, sow and reap. Break the rhythm and scarcity follows. Flow with it, and wealth becomes inevitable. But giving is not only coins. To give is to release energy into the world, your time, your kindness, your creativity, your service. And receiving is not only money. It is joy, opportunity, ideas, connections. Every exchange, visible or invisible, is part of the rhythm. The key is alignment. Give not from guilt, but from joy. Receive not with shame, but with gratitude. Let each act, whether giving or receiving, be a note in the song of abundance. Now, let us practice. Close your eyes, place your hand over your heart. Breathe in slowly and imagine drawing golden light into your chest. As you exhale, see the golden light flowing outward into the world, to family, to friends, to strangers. Inhale again and see golden light returning from every direction, opportunities, wealth, blessings flowing back to you. Continue this rhythm. Inhale to receive, exhale to give. With each cycle, whisper inwardly, "I flow with the rhythm. I give, I receive, I prosper." Feel the truth of this. You are not separate from the rhythm. You are the rhythm. The river does not struggle to flow. The tree does not resist giving fruit. The sun does not hesitate to shine, and neither should you hesitate to give or to receive. Many fear giving, believing they will have less. But in truth, to give from abundance is to affirm abundance, and the universe answers in kind. Many fear receiving, believing they are unworthy. But to receive with gratitude is to affirm worthiness, and the universe multiplies it. Both halves are sacred, both halves are necessary. Consider again your breath. Imagine someone saying, "I will only inhale, for exhaling wastes my air." Foolish, is it not? And yet this is how many treat wealth: hoarding, clinging, never releasing, never circulating. They suffocate their own prosperity. From this moment, practice the rhythm daily. Give something, not from compulsion, but from joy. A coin, a smile, a word of encouragement. And when something comes to you, however small, receive it fully with gratitude. Say inwardly, "This is the rhythm. More is coming." Another story. A poor craftsman once carved a small figurine and gave it freely to a passing traveler. Months later, that traveler returned with a wealthy patron who commissioned the craftsman for great works. His fortune changed, not because he begged, but because he gave. The rhythm carried his gift outward, and in return, abundance flowed back. So too with you. Do not fear the rhythm. Trust it. Live in it. For wealth is not meant to stagnate in vaults or wallets. It is meant to flow, to circulate, to nourish. When you align with this truth, you become like the river, ever moving, ever giving, ever receiving, never dry. Chapter 10. The Silent Law of Certainty. There is a law deeper than effort, stronger than hope, and more powerful than chance. It is the silent law of certainty. Wealth does not answer the tentative, the wavering, the half-believing heart. It answers the one who knows. Certainty is the inner command that bends reality. It is not arrogance. It is not loud. It is stillness, a quiet strength that says, "It is already mine. It cannot fail. It cannot be otherwise." This vibration, once embodied, moves mountains, bends circumstances, and summons money as surely as the sun summons dawn. Pause for a moment. Reflect on your own life. How many times did you doubt, hesitate, second guess? How often did you ask, "Will it come?" and "What if it doesn't?" Those questions are cracks in the frequency, static in the transmission. The universe does not punish you for them, but it cannot deliver through them. For wealth is not drawn by begging, it is drawn by knowing. Let me tell you a story. A traveler once came to a village suffering drought. He promised rain within 3 days. The villagers laughed, saying, "Many have prayed, yet the skies remain empty." But the traveler walked with calm, planting his tent as though the rain were certain. He stored jars of water as if for the storm. He prepared fields for seed. The villagers scoffed, yet he remained steady. On the 3rd day, clouds gathered and rain poured down. Astonished, the people asked, "How did you know?" He replied, "I did not hope for rain. I knew the rain was already mine, waiting to be called by certainty." This is the law. Certainty summons. Think of a master musician. When they strike a note, they do not wonder if the sound will appear. They know. When an architect lays a blueprint, they do not question if the building will rise. They know. So too with wealth. The one who knows receives. The one who doubts delays. Another story. In a modern city lived a young woman who longed for financial freedom. She read books, repeated affirmations, but her heart trembled with uncertainty. Then one evening, she heard a teacher say, "Certainty is the womb of creation. Without it, nothing is born." She decided to test this. Instead of asking if wealth would come, she began to live as if it were already here. She walked with calm, smiled with assurance, acted with conviction. Within months, unexpected opportunities arose. Money flowed, doors opened. Her certainty had spoken, and the universe obeyed. Certainty is not forced, it is remembered. It is the deep recognition that you and wealth are not strangers but one. That abundance is not outside you but within, waiting to be embodied. When you claim this truth, the outer world shifts, not as chance but as law. But how do you move from doubt to certainty? Here lies the sacred practice. Sit quietly. Place your feet firmly on the ground, your spine upright, your hands resting gently. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. With each inhale, imagine golden light rising from the earth into your body. With each exhale, release every trace of doubt. Now speak inwardly. It is mine. Not it will be mine, but it is mine. Feel the weight of those words. Let them sink deeper until they are no longer phrases but frequency. Next, visualize the thing you desire most. Money in your hands, freedom in your life, abundance flowing through you. Do not imagine it as future, see it as now. Touch it, smell it, feel it. Let your body respond as though it were already real. This is certainty. This is knowing. Remain here until gratitude rises naturally, until joy wells up unforced. That joy is the sign that certainty has taken root. When you open your eyes, walk in that state. Do not return to asking. Do not beg the universe for proof. Move as though it is already done, for in truth it is. Certainty is magnetic. Doubt repels, but certainty attracts. Think of two people entering a room. One enters unsure, seeking approval, and others ignore them. The other enters calm, confident, as though they belong, and everyone turns to them. Wealth responds the same way. It ignores doubt, but bends toward certainty. From this moment, practice certainty in small ways. Decide upon a meal and know it will nourish. Decide upon a meeting and know it will bless. Decide upon a sum of money and know it is already flowing toward you. Begin with little things, for each small certainty builds a greater one. Soon you will carry the vibration not only in thought, but in every cell, and then nothing can resist you. The ancients guarded this teaching, for it was power. They knew certainty was divine command. They carved it into symbols, hid it in parables. Faith as small as a mustard seed moves mountains. What is faith but certainty? What is the seed but knowing that harvest is inevitable? Another story. A sculptor was asked how he created statues so lifelike. He replied, "I do not carve the stone. I see the statue within, certain it is already there, and remove what is not." So too with wealth. It is already within. You need only remove the doubt. Hear me clearly. Wealth is not waiting to be earned. It is waiting to be claimed. The universe is not reluctant. It is obedient. The only question is whether you carry the vibration of certainty. So let this be your practice. Each day, declare not with hope, but with knowing. It is done. It is mine. It cannot fail. Walk as though you already possess it. Act as though doors are already open. Give thanks not for what will come, but for what already is. You will notice something shift. The mirror responds differently. The world bends more quickly. People sense your vibration. Opportunities find you, not by chance, but by law. For certainty is command, and the universe cannot disobey command spoken in its own language. From this moment, release doubt. Release the endless questions. Stand in the stillness of knowing. The law of certainty is silent, yet it thunders through creation. Live in it, and wealth becomes inevitable. Chapter 11. The Alchemy of Gratitude. There is a secret fire that turns the ordinary into gold. It is older than kingdoms, stronger than empires, and more transformative than any philosopher's stone. That fire is gratitude. Gratitude is not polite words muttered at dinner tables. It is alchemy. It takes what little you have and multiplies it. It takes scarcity and transforms it into abundance. It shifts your vibration so completely that the universe cannot resist responding. Gratitude is the frequency of wealth itself. Most people wait for abundance before they give thanks. They believe they must see the harvest before they celebrate. But the alchemist knows the opposite. Celebration precedes harvest. Gratitude is not the effect of wealth, it is the cause. Pause for a moment. Feel the truth of this. When you are ungrateful, everything appears smaller, harsher, lacking. But when you are grateful, the same world suddenly glows, opportunities appear, doors open. Gratitude does not change the outer facts. It changes you, and so the facts must rearrange to match the new frequency. Let me tell you a story. In a forgotten town lived a man who was endlessly bitter. He cursed his work, despised his wages, envied his neighbors. Each year his life grew heavier, his pockets emptier. One day he met a wise traveler who asked, "What do you have?" The man grumbled, "Nothing but this roof and this bread." The traveler said, "Give thanks for the roof, give thanks for the bread, and you will have more." The man scoffed, but that night, weary and alone, he whispered, "Thanks anyway." Something shifted. The bread tasted sweeter, the roof felt safer. Gratitude began to change him. Soon, opportunities appeared, and wealth grew. His fortune did not begin with coins, it began with thanks. Gratitude is the magnet. It aligns your vibration with receiving. When you complain, you emit resistance, and wealth slips away. When you give thanks, even for the little, you say to the universe, "I am ready for more." Another story. A woman once lived in deep poverty. Each night she lit a single candle and whispered, "Thank you for this flame, for it reminds me of light." Each morning she said, "Thank you for this bread, for it gives me strength." Over time, her gratitude became a fire. It burned so brightly within her that others noticed. Strangers helped her, friends supported her, opportunities came. Within years, she was wealthy. She often said, "The candle brought me more than gold, for gratitude turned the flame into a sun." This is the secret of gratitude. It multiplies whatever it touches. But gratitude must be real. Hollow thanks spoken with resentment do nothing. True gratitude is felt. It is a vibration, a frequency, a song. When you embody it, the universe hears, and wealth responds. And so, here lies the sacred practice. Sit quietly. Place both hands over your heart. Breathe deeply. Begin to list inwardly what you are grateful for. Start small. The breath in your lungs, the ground beneath your feet, the warmth in your body. Let each one spark a small flame in your heart. Feel the warmth grow with each breath. See the flame expand until it fills your chest, then your body, then the room around you. Whisper inwardly, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Not as words, but as vibration. Now, imagine holding money in your hands. Whether a single coin or a vast fortune, feel it and give thanks as though it is already yours. Say, "Thank you for this wealth. Thank you for the freedom it brings. Thank you for the abundance flowing endlessly to me." Let the gratitude be so strong that your body vibrates with joy. When you open your eyes, carry this state. Notice how even ordinary things feel luminous. Gratitude transforms perception, and perception transforms reality. Soon, wealth begins to flow, not because you chased it, but because you thanked it before it arrived. Gratitude is also a shield. When fear whispers, gratitude silences it. When doubt rises, gratitude dissolves it. When scarcity tries to return, gratitude blocks the door. You cannot feel lack and gratitude at the same time. One will always drive the other out. Choose gratitude, and lack must vanish. Another story. In a kingdom struck by famine, a farmer had only one seed left. Others wept, cursed the heavens, and abandoned hope. But the farmer knelt and whispered, "Thank you for this seed, for within it lies an entire harvest." He planted it with faith, watered it with care, and soon it grew into a field that fed his family and neighbors. Gratitude made the seed multiply. So too with you. Perhaps you feel you have only one seed, one opportunity, one talent, one small income. Do not curse it. Bless it, thank it, and watch it multiply into a harvest. Understand this. Wealth is not drawn to bitterness. It is drawn to gratitude. Money is not energy of complaint. It is energy of celebration. To the grateful heart, it flows easily, for it feels welcomed. To the ungrateful, it resists, for it feels rejected. From this day, make gratitude your daily practice. Each morning before rising, whisper thanks for 3 things. Each night before sleeping, whisper thanks for 3 more. Do this until gratitude becomes your natural tone. Watch how your days shift, how opportunities arrive, how money circulates more easily. Gratitude is not just polite manners. It is the key that unlocks abundance. It is the fire that transforms the ordinary into gold. Chapter 12. The Echo of Belief. Everything you experience in life is an echo. The world does not speak first, it answers. The universe is not commander, it is responder, and what it responds to is belief. Belief is the hidden architect of your reality. It is the root beneath every tree of circumstance, the seed beneath every harvest, the blueprint behind every fortune or failure. What you believe about money becomes the law of your life. Believe it is scarce, and it will vanish. Believe it is abundant, and it will flow. Believe it is difficult, and it will resist. Believe it is natural, and it will move with ease. Pause here. Ask yourself, what do I truly believe about money? Not what you say, not what you affirm, but what you know deep within. Those hidden beliefs are the frequency you carry, and the universe can only echo them back. Let me tell you a story. A child once found a seashell on the shore. Holding it to his ear, he marveled at the sound of the ocean within. He asked his teacher, "Is the sea really in this shell?" The teacher smiled and said, "The shell does not create the sound. It only echoes what is already within the sea." In the same way, life does not create your beliefs. It echoes them. Money is not deciding your fate. It is echoing your inner conviction. Another story. A man grew up hearing his parents say, "Money is hard to keep. It slips away." As an adult, no matter how much he earned, it vanished quickly. He blamed the world, cursed his luck, until one day he realized it was not luck, it was belief. His inner law said money must vanish, and so it obeyed. When he changed the belief, when he began declaring and feeling, "Money stays with me, multiplies with me, loves to remain in my hands," his life transformed. The echo changed because the root changed. Belief is not mere thought. It is thought made flesh. It is thought so deeply accepted that the body, the emotions, the vibration all align with it. This is why affirmations often fail. Repeating words without belief is like knocking on a door without conviction. The house does not open. But when words carry belief, the door swings wide because the universe recognizes the frequency as true. The ancients knew this. They carved it into sacred texts. According to your faith, it is done unto you. They understood that faith is belief, clothed in certainty. They taught disciples to guard their beliefs as one guards treasure, for the belief shapes the world. So, how do you change belief? Here lies the sacred practice. Sit quietly. Breathe deeply. Bring to mind a belief you currently hold about money. Perhaps it is, money is scarce, or I must work endlessly for wealth. Feel the weight of that belief. Notice how it has shaped your past, how the echo has returned again and again. Now, imagine placing that belief in your hands as if it were a stone, heavy, dark, burdening. See yourself carrying it all your life, and now release it. Drop it into the river of light before you. Watch it sink and vanish. Feel the relief in your chest. Now, imagine a golden seed placed into your hands. This seed is a new belief. Whisper into it. Money flows easily to me. I am worthy of wealth. Wealth multiplies in my hands. Abundance is natural. Hold this seed to your heart. Feel its warmth. Let it take root in your being. See its roots spreading through your chest, its branches reaching into your mind, its fruit shining in your future. This is belief reborn. Do this daily. Replace the old stone with the new seed. In time, the echo will change. Life will begin to mirror the new belief, for the universe cannot resist the frequency you embody. Understand this. Belief is not imposed from outside. It is chosen within. You have the power to choose what you believe. You can keep repeating the story of scarcity, or you can begin a new story of abundance. The universe is listening either way. Another story. A woman believed she was cursed with poverty. Generations before her had been poor, and she accepted it as fate. But one day, she asked herself, what if this is not curse but choice? What if belief has been passed down like inheritance? She decided to break it. Each day, she declared, I am the first in my line to live in abundance. I am the one who shifts the story. At first, it felt false, but she persisted. Soon, her reality shifted. She created a business, grew wealth, and became the first in her family to thrive. Her new belief rippled backward and forward, healing generations. This is the power of belief. It is not just personal, it is generational. Change it, and you change the echo for those who come after you. From this day, notice the echoes in your life. Every repeated pattern is a belief returning. Do not curse the echo. Change the sound. Speak new truth. Feel new truth. Believe new truth. And watch the echo shift. Wealth is not random. It is the echo of your belief. Chapter 13. The Hidden Current of Desire. Deep within you flows a current that never sleeps. It stirs in your heart, moves through your veins, whispers in your thoughts. This current is desire. Not shallow craving, not restless wanting, but the sacred pull of life itself, urging you to expand, to grow, to create. Desire is the compass of the soul. It is not your enemy, it is your guide. Every true desire you carry is evidence of what the universe intends to express through you. Money, wealth, abundance. These are not random wishes, but echoes of your inner current. They are the universe calling you to remember who you are. Yet, most people fear desire. They have been told it is selfish, dangerous, unspiritual. They have been taught to suppress it, to shrink it, to mistrust it. And so their current becomes dammed, their river dries, their wealth withers. They do not realize that desire is the key that opens the gates of creation. Pause now. Feel into your own heart. Beneath the noise of fear and duty, there is something you want, not from greed, but from truth. Perhaps freedom, ease, beauty, creativity, abundance. That desire is sacred. It is not random, it is instruction. Let me tell you a story. A young monk lived in a monastery high in the mountains. He was taught that desire was illusion, that wealth was distraction, that longing was weakness. For years he suppressed his heart, but he grew weary, restless. One night he dreamed of a golden river flowing down the mountain. When he awoke, his chest burned with a new truth. His desire was not evil, it was calling. He left the monastery, followed the river in his vision, and in the valley below, he built a school where children learned freely. His wealth grew, not as sin, but as fulfillment of desire. He had learned that desire is not to be feared but followed. So it is with you. Money is not the root of your desire. It is the vessel. Your true desire is freedom, expression, contribution, joy. Money is only the instrument by which these play their song. To deny money is to deny the song itself. Another story. In a crowded city lived a woman who longed to paint. She worked long hours, convincing herself she had no time, no right, no money to follow her dream. Her desire ached like an unplayed violin. One evening she decided to honor it. She bought a small canvas with her last coins and painted by candlelight. That night she felt more alive than she had in years. Soon others noticed her art. Commissions came. Wealth followed. Her fortune was born not from chasing money, but from honoring desire. This is the hidden current. Desire leads, wealth follows. But desire must be purified. There is lower desire and higher desire. Lower desire comes from fear. To impress, to compete, to fill emptiness. It never satisfies, for its root is lack. Higher desire comes from truth. To create, to expand, to bless, to embody fullness. It satisfies endlessly, for its root is abundance. Ask yourself, where does my desire come from? If it comes from fear, release it. If it comes from truth, trust it. For true desire is the compass that always points toward wealth and purpose. Now, here lies the sacred practice. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, place your hand on your chest. Ask inwardly, what do I truly desire? Do not think. Listen, feel. Let the first whisper arise. Perhaps it is freedom from debt. Perhaps it is the joy of travel. Perhaps it is building something that outlives you. Whatever it is, honor it. See it not as weakness, but as command. Now imagine yourself stepping into that desire fulfilled. See yourself living it. Feel the joy, the relief, the expansion. Whisper inwardly, this desire is sacred. This desire is mine. Wealth flows to fulfill it. Carry this into your days. When you act, let desire guide. When you choose, let desire speak. When you doubt, return to the current within. For desire is not against you. It is the voice of the universe moving through you. Understand this. Desire is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Without it, nothing would ever be created. Every invention, every work of art, every empire, every fortune, all were born of desire. To suppress it is to silence creation itself. To honor it is to walk in alignment with life. Another story. A fisherman once dreamed of building ships instead of nets. His village laughed. "You are foolish," they said. But his desire burned too deeply to ignore. He followed it, carving wood, shaping sails. Soon he built not only ships, but a fleet. His wealth grew, his village thrived, and generations prospered because one man honored desire. So too with you. Your desire is the spark of creation. Do not extinguish it with fear. Do not belittle it with shame. Trust it. Follow it. For it will always lead you to the frequency of money, and beyond that, to the abundance of life itself. Wealth is not random. It is the echo of desire fulfilled. Chapter 14. The Dance with Fear. Every seeker of wealth eventually meets the same shadow. Fear. Fear of not enough. Fear of loss. Fear of failure. Fear that the river will run dry. Fear that you are unworthy, unseen, forgotten. This shadow waits at the threshold of abundance, guarding the gate. But here is the secret. Fear is not an enemy to be slain. It is a teacher to be understood. Fear points to the very doorway you must walk through. Wherever fear rises, abundance hides behind it. Pause for a moment. Reflect on your life. How many times has fear kept you from moving forward? How many opportunities passed because you hesitated? How many dreams withered because you listened to fear more than to desire? And yet, notice, each time you overcame fear, life expanded. Each time you stepped forward, wealth grew, doors opened, new horizons appeared. Fear was the threshold, and passing through it was initiation. Let me tell you a story. In a desert city, there was a great market filled with treasures. At its entrance stood a statue said to guard the wealth within. The statue was carved with such ferocity that many travelers turned away, believing the market dangerous. But one day, a young wanderer touched the statue and discovered it was hollow, nothing but clay. He entered and found abundance beyond imagining. So it is with fear. It appears solid, terrifying, insurmountable. But when touched with courage, it crumbles into nothing. Another story. A man dreamed of starting a business, but fear whispered, "You will fail. You will lose everything. You are not enough." He listened for years, living small, earning little. One day, weary of fear's voice, he asked himself, what if fear is lying? He decided to act despite it. His business flourished, his wealth grew, and he laughed at how fear had been only an illusion, a hollow statue at the gate of abundance. Understand this. Fear is not the end, it is the beginning. Every great fortune has fear at its threshold. The difference between those who prosper and those who remain in lack is simple. Some retreat at fear's whisper, others dance with it. But how do you dance with fear? You do not fight it. You do not suppress it. You face it, name it, and move with it. You treat it not as master, but as signal. Fear says, "Here is the gate. Walk through. Here lies the sacred practice." Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Bring to mind one fear you carry about money. Perhaps it is the fear of losing what you have. Perhaps the fear of never having enough. Perhaps the fear of being judged for desiring wealth. See this fear not as shadowless mist, but as a figure standing before you. Perhaps a giant, perhaps a storm, perhaps a wall. Look at it. Name it. Whisper, "You are not my master. You are my signal." Now imagine stepping forward. As you approach, the figure shrinks. The storm clears. The wall cracks. What once seemed solid becomes nothing. Walk through. On the other side, see yourself standing in abundance, free, fearless, radiant. Whisper inwardly, "I am greater than fear. Fear is the gate, and I have passed through." Do this often. Each time fear arises, do not resist it. Listen. What gate is it guarding? Where is it pointing? Step forward. In time, you will realize fear is not there to stop you. It is there to show you the path. Another story. A woman longed to invest in her dream, but feared losing her savings. She hesitated for years until one day she decided to test fear. She invested wisely, and though there were risks, the returns multiplied. She later said, "Fear was the compass. Where it pointed, my destiny waited." This is the truth. Fear points to the treasure. Wherever you feel greatest fear, there lies greatest expansion. Even nature reveals this. The seed must split to grow. The caterpillar must dissolve into nothing to become butterfly. The tide must recede before it returns fuller. Fear is only the trembling before transformation. Do not curse fear. Thank it, for without it, you would never know where to expand. Without it, you would remain stagnant. Fear marks the doorway, courage walks through it, and wealth awaits on the other side. From this day forward, shift your relationship to fear. When it rises, do not retreat. Say instead, "Thank you for showing me the gate. I walk through." Each step you take in this spirit multiplies your wealth, not only in coins, but in power, freedom, and expansion of soul. Wealth does not belong to those without fear. It belongs to those who dance with. Chapter 15. The Crown of Abundance. There comes a moment on every path of awakening when the seeker stops chasing and begins embodying, when you no longer look for wealth outside yourself, but recognize it as the crown already resting upon your head. This is the crown of abundance, invisible to the eyes of the world, yet radiant to the universe. Abundance is not something you acquire, it is something you wear. It is an identity, a vibration, a state of being. The moment you embody abundance, money begins to move toward you, not as guest, but as subject, not as stranger, but as loyal servant. Pause for a moment. Reflect on how often you have acted as if wealth were far away. You reached, you stretched, you begged, you hoped, and yet the river of money always seemed distant, elusive. But consider this. When a king wears his crown, does he chase his subjects? No. He embodies authority, and they gather naturally. When you wear the crown of abundance, wealth is drawn to you by law, for it recognizes its ruler. Let me tell you a story. In a distant land, a prince was exiled as a child. He grew up poor, working in fields, convinced he was nothing more than a peasant. One day a traveler recognized him and said, "Do you not know who you are? You are heir to the throne." At first the boy laughed, refusing to believe, but when he returned to the palace, the guards bowed, the gates opened, and he was crowned. His entire life changed, not because wealth had suddenly appeared, but because he finally accepted his identity. So it is with you. You are not a beggar in this universe. You are heir to infinite abundance. The crown is already yours. Another story. A woman worked tirelessly for decades, always feeling unworthy, always striving to prove herself. One day, exhausted, she sat in silence and whispered, "I surrender." In that stillness, she felt something rise within her, a calm, radiant knowing, "I am abundance itself." From that day forward, she no longer begged money to come. She walked in dignity, acted with confidence, and opportunities flowed without strain. She wore the crown, and wealth responded. This is the great shift from chasing to embodying. Understand this. When you chase wealth, you vibrate with lack, and the universe reflects it. When you embody abundance, you vibrate with wholeness, and the universe reflects it. Chasing says, "I do not have." Embodying says, "I am." And the world always obeys the vibration of "I am." I am. But how do you wear the crown of abundance? Here lies the sacred practice. Sit quietly. Close your eyes. Imagine above your head a crown of golden light. It glows, it radiates, it hums with power. Slowly see it lowering until it rests upon your head. Feel its weight, not as burden, but as dignity. Whisper inwardly, "I am abundance, I am wealth, I am prosperity itself." Allow the words to sink until they are no longer words, but truth. Now, imagine walking through your life wearing this crown. See yourself entering your work, your home, your relationships. Notice how others respond to your vibration. Notice how opportunities appear, how money flows, how doors open. You are not pretending, you are remembering. This crown was always yours. Each morning, return to this practice. Place the crown upon your head in imagination, and then rise into your day wearing it in truth. Carry yourself with the dignity of abundance, not the desperation of lack. When you speak, let your words flow from abundance. When you act, let your steps be guided by abundance. Soon, you will notice the reflection, money moving, opportunities multiplying, wealth obeying. Another story. In an ancient city, a beggar sat by the gates asking for coins. One day, a sage approached and asked, "Why do you beg when you are seated upon a chest of treasure?" The beggar laughed, but when he lifted the stone he sat on, he discovered gold hidden beneath. He had been sitting upon wealth all along. So too with you. You sit upon the treasure of your own identity, but until you recognize it, you live as beggar instead of heir. From this day, stop begging, stop chasing, stop believing wealth is far. Put on the crown. Embody the vibration. Say inwardly, "I am the source of abundance. Money flows to me because I am abundance itself." This is not arrogance. This is remembrance. You are not claiming what is not yours. You are reclaiming what has always been yours. Even nature teaches this. The tree does not beg the sun for light. It stands tall, certain of its right to receive, and the sun obeys. The river does not plead with gravity to flow. It simply is, and flow happens. So too with you. You need not beg the universe for wealth. Stand tall, wear your crown, and let abundance obey. Wealth is not outside you, it is you. When you embody abundance, money becomes reflection, not pursuit. Conclusion. The final chord of wealth. You have walked with me through the hidden corridors of abundance. You have stepped into temples of flame, wandered beside rivers of light, stood before mirrors, doors, crowns, and gates. With every chapter, the veil has thinned. With every word, the frequency has grown louder. And now, here you are, at the threshold of remembrance. The secret frequency of money was never far from you. It has always been humming beneath your breath, echoing through your thoughts, vibrating in your very blood. The law has been whispering, as within, so without. As you resonate, so you receive. Perhaps when we began this journey, money felt distant, elusive, a stranger you had to chase. But now you know the truth. Money is not stranger, but servant, not master, but mirror, not scarce, but infinite. The only question was never whether it would come. The question was whether you would tune to its song. And you have. You learned that wealth is vibration, that it answers resonance, not begging, that it reflects belief, not effort alone, that it flows like river, unending, inexhaustible, that it listens to the language of the invisible, to your tone, your certainty, your imagination, that it honors desire, transforms through gratitude, multiplies through giving, and bows to certainty. You learn that you are not here to chase, you are here to embody. The crown of abundance is not offered someday. It rests already upon your head. All that remained was remembrance. Take a breath now. Feel how different you are from the moment this journey began. Feel how the vibration within you has shifted. There is clarity where there was fog. There is certainty where there was doubt. There is dignity where there was begging. This is not imagination only. This is transformation. Close your eyes for a moment. See the river flowing beneath your feet. Golden waters stretch to infinity. Step into it. Let it move through you. Let it carry you. Whisper inwardly, I am the frequency of wealth. I am the current of abundance. I am the echo of prosperity. Now see the mirror rising before you. Look into it. Who do you see? Not the one who feared, not the one who begged, not the one who doubted. You see the one who remembers. The heir, the ruler, the creator. You see yourself crowned with light, radiating worthiness, vibrating certainty. The mirror smiles back, for at last you have aligned with truth. Walk forward now. Step through the mirror. On the other side, life awaits, not as chance, but as reflection. You will notice opportunities where once there was nothing. You will meet doors where once there were walls. You will hear whispers of guidance where once there was silence. This is not magic. This is law. Remember always, the world does not move first. You do. The universe does not decide first. You decide. You carry the tuning fork, and life echoes its note. Play scarcity, and scarcity answers. Play abundance, and wealth cannot resist. So, from this day, guard your frequency. Choose your vibration as carefully as a musician tunes their strings. Each thought, each feeling, each intention is a note in the symphony of your life. Let the notes you play be gratitude, certainty, worthiness, joy, and watch how the symphony returns in money, in freedom, in abundance overflowing. Let me leave you with one final story. There was once a seeker who traveled the world searching for treasure. He climbed mountains, crossed seas, searched caves, yet found nothing. At last, weary, he returned home and collapsed at his own doorstep. There, beneath the very ground he had walked all his life, lay the treasure chest he sought. It had been his all along. So it is with you. The frequency of wealth was never elsewhere. It was always here, humming in your chest, waiting to be remembered. The search is over. The crown is upon your head. The mirror has revealed your truth. The river flows through you. The treasure is yours. We close this journey not with ending, but with beginning. For every time you listen again, the frequency will tune you deeper. Every time you return, new layers will awaken, and every time you practice, wealth will become less of a dream and more of your natural state. So step forward now, not as beggar, but as ruler, not as seeker, but as creator, not as one chasing wealth, but as wealth itself. The secret frequency of money is no longer secret. It is you. If this journey has spoken to you, if you have felt the shift, the awakening, the remembering, I invite you to carry this light further. Like this video if the frequency resonates. Leave a comment sharing the moment that stirred you most, for your story may be the mirror that awakens another. And if you wish to continue walking with us into deeper mysteries, subscribe to this circle of light. You are not alone on this path. Together, we are tuning the world to abundance. The song has begun. The crown is yours. The river flows. Walk now in the frequency of money.